Welcome back. Welcome back to Jay's Rock and Roll Stories. I'm your host, Jay. Today, we are going to talk about Sam Cutler. Sam Cutler. You might not know the name Sam Cutler, but I'm sure you know who the Rolling Stones are, and I'm sure you know who the Grateful Dead are. This guy was able to be the tour manager for both bands. Wow. What I want to do most of the meat of this story, I want to talk about his time with those two bands. Also, the meat of the story comes from his autobiography, the Sam Cutler autobiography, which I just finished. It's a fantastic book. But what I want to do is I just want to give you a quick backstory so we can get caught up to where he lands it with the Stones and the Dead. So he's born to an Irish woman and a Scottish man who abandoned him as a little baby boy at an orphanage in 1947. He is adopted at the age of 2 by a nice family who are very into union workers, that kind of thing, workers' rights, respect, hard work. When the adoptive father brings him home, he announces to the whole house, "I saved him from the Catholics." As a teenager, he is obsessed with books, music, and girls. He goes to jazz clubs. This is early 60s when there's a lot of jazz, live jazz going around. This is in London, England, early 60s. That's the first time he smokes weed, is at a jazz club in the back area where it's outside and there's a little, smoking area. He just goes and hangs out, and there's some jazz guys these are British jazz musicians who are just passing around a joint, having a chat, whatever, and someone, the guy to his left passes it to his right, and Sam Cutler takes it and has a couple puffs and passes it to the next guy, and it doesn't hit him immediately, but he goes back inside, and he doesn't like the smell of the bar, and it's hot in here, and he's uncomfortable, and he has to get outside to get some fresh air, and he walks home just feeling good about himself, that he just wants to pay attention to books, music, and girls. That's what his obsession is right now. Fast forward to later, mid-60s, 63, 64, he becomes a teacher. He teaches to a group of what's called at that time maladjusted youth, who I think up until maybe up until the early 2000s, it might have been called special education, or I think now it's called special needs. And then in 1965, this is kind of like swinging London. This is colorful. It's fashionable. This is the first time he tries LSD at an apartment with some friends. And this is an experience for him that kind of sets him into an insecure feeling of maybe he's still not on the path that he wants to do. He starts going to clubs and seeing bands play. This is 66, 67. He starts hanging out with Pink Floyd. He becomes friends with Syd Barrett, Roger Waters, Nick Mason. They all do acid together. Then he makes friends with a man named Alexis Corner. Alexis Corner was the main guy of the big British blues explosion in the early 60s. Like, all the bands went to Alexis. Like, when all the guys from the Stones, the guys from the Who, Yardbirds, Clapton, Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, when they came to that age of, I'm really into the blues, go talk to Alexis Corner. He's the guy he had a club where all the bands played. He had the biggest record collection. that was where he started. So he became good friends with Alexis Korner. Alexis Korner invites him out to his place, and he stays and become good friends. And Alexis asks Sam Cutler, this is 68, would you like to tour or come with me, like help plan my rock band tour? And they're going to go to Holland and Europe. And Sam Cutler has just an amazing time doing this, managing kind of touring and planning the tour through Europe with Alexis Korner and his blues band, that Sam Cutler says, this is it. This is what I want to do. And that's where we're going to start. Okay, we're going to fast forward right now to around 67, 68. Sam Cutler is working for a record company called Black Hill, who was sort of representing Pink Floyd while they still had Syd Barrett. Also after when Syd Barrett went kind of nuts and who was replaced by David Gilmour. Black Hill also represents Mark Bolan from T-Rex. Black Hill also has this reputation of putting on live music and concerts in parks in London parks. Black Hill was not run by the Suits, was not run by the aged old guys with the checker pants suits who don't know what the fuck's going on, but they just want to make a buck. No, Black Hill was run by hippie-like people that were just look exactly like the band. So it's like they're working together. So Sam Cutler's job is sort of like the groundwork. He gets the permits, he gets the staging, he gets areas where you put the trash, that kind of shit. So the first successful outdoor live show was called the Midsummer High Weekend. It featured acts as Jethro Tull, Tyrannosaurus Rex, who would go on to be known as T-Rex with Mark Bolan, and also Pink Floyd as the headliner. It was kind of like a big deal because it was the first time any group or like an underground group kind of put on such a thing, such a live show like this. Another successful outdoor live concert for Black Hill and Sam Cutler on his resume was the Live 1969 of the debut of the band, the supergroup Blind Faith. Blind Faith is what they call a supergroup, a little conglomerate of guys from all over the place of other bands. For example, Blind Faith was Steve Winwood, who came from Traffic. Blind Faith is Eric Clapton from Cream, Ginger Baker from Cream, and Rick Gresh on bass from Family. All right, so Black Hill, Sam Cutler, they have a small budget. They're going to put on a concert in Hyde Park in London. Sam Cutler builds a meter-high stage for the band, no roof. It was advertised as a quote-unquote free concert. There's no sense of any money being made. It's just about the artist. It's just about the music. It brought in some famous people. Donovan's walking around, Paul McCartney, Mary Unfaithful, Mick Jagger holding hands, walking around. And even Blind Faith plays a little rendition of the Stones' Under My Thumb. Under My Thumb is sort of like a nod, like, hey Mick, we see you there. Here, listen to this one. So Blind Faith insists that they do not want an introduction. They just go on playing music with no introduction. It's about the music, not about the ego. 150,000 people show up in Hyde Park to see Blind Faith. No police are needed. Everyone behaves themselves. It was kind of like the first successful outdoor gig of the time where it was just kind of, it worked and it led to a lot more. So 2 days after the Blind Faith show, Mick Jagger and the Stones go to Cotchford Farm, that's where Brian Jones lives, and they tell him he's out of the band. You're done. And then they tell Black Hill they want to do what Blind Faith did, and they want to use that chance to introduce Mick Taylor as their new guitarist. So the Stones are pretty clever too. They arrange for Granada Television to make a documentary of their performance in Hyde Park. The television company is going to cover the costs of the production, financing the event by selling the rights to make a film. That was Mick's idea, pretty clever. And that's the first time anyone has ever done anything like that in a musical concert. Sam Cutler builds a stage that's 2 meters high. It does have a roof, but the fans can see the band, but they're not going to be able to like climb up there and, give Mick a hug or anything like that. So July 3rd, 1969, Brian Jones dies from the Rolling Stones. Brian Jones from Rolling Stones dies under very, very mysterious circumstances, and that would have to be a whole different episode. July 3rd, Brian dies. July 5th, the Stones go on. The Stones play the free concert in Hyde Park. A local DJ was supposed to make the announcement to introduce the band, but he didn't show up. So Sam Cutler did the announcement, did the introduction. He also said it would be nice. He said to the people, hey, be nice to the trees. Yeah, give each other hugs. Be nice to each other. Sam Cutler says he enjoyed doing the announcement. That was like, that felt good doing that. That's kind of like something that maybe I want to do again. So they left like in honor of Brian Jones, they opened a box full of white butterflies that flew away. The band comes on. They're out of tune. They're a little bit out of time, but it was sort of a successful show. Not one police officer was needed. Everyone behaved themselves. Audience was estimated between 250 to 500,000 people. And everyone was cool. No one got in trouble. But with that many people, there's going to be a shitload of trash all over the place. So Sam Cutler put together a group of volunteers with garbage bags. They had a hell of a job cleaning up the entire park, but they got it clean. It looked fantastic, and Sam was proud of that. Like we cleaned up the mess. All right, so at this time, Sam Cutler meets Rock Scully, who is at the time the manager of the Grateful Dead. So Rock Scully visits England, and they run into each other. Sam Cutler gets to hear about the stories about California, the Bay Area bands, the similar live shows that they have going on in Golden Gate Park that they're doing over here in Hyde Park. The two guys get along. So a little note that right after the Stones gig, Sam Cutler goes to a concert at the Albert Hall. Right after the Stones one at Hyde Park, Sam Cutler goes to see Chuck Berry and The Who, and Mick Jagger is there. And Sam runs into Mick Jagger like, hey, that was a pretty good show. And Mick Jagger tells Sam Cutler like that was one of the best days of his life. So it's pretty nice. Who knows if it was true, but it's still nice. Okay, so Alan Klein is at this time the manager of the Beatles and the Stones. He's a real prick. He's been stealing money from both bands. He's very intimidating. He's terrifying. He carries a shotgun with him. Everyone is completely afraid of Alan Klein. So right now, this is late June 1969. Mick Jagger is in Australia filming the Western, Ned Kelly. So he's not in town. So Sam Cutler and Keith Richards go to Alan Klein's office to tell him they're done with Alan Klein. They're going to go on tour with Alan Klein's nephew, Ronnie Schneider. Ronnie Schneider, they work well with him, and they want Ronnie Schneider as their new manager. And it doesn't go... I guess it goes... Well, not really. It's kind of a mess. So no one got killed, but still it's... people were pissed off. Alan Klein is pretty pissed off. Like in their office when they're sitting down, telling him. Alan Klein gets up, he leaves the office, but he stops and points to Sam Cutler, and he says, you little prick, you better watch your back. So, okay, shit. Okay, the guy who carries a shotgun's telling me I gotta watch my back. So Sam Cutler is offered the job of personal tour manager of the Rolling Stones. And his primary role would be to look after Mick, look after Keith, look after the new guitar player, Mick Taylor, at a house in Los Angeles while they're on their tour. Pretty big boots to fill. Sam Cutler's excited to do it. Sounds like a lot of babysitting. Sam called it a dream come true. So before London, he tells his girlfriend goodbye. That I'm with the Rolling Stones. I'm going to go with them, but she doesn't understand why would you leave me for the Rolling Stones? He tells his mom and his stepmom and his stepdad. Oh, I'm sorry, his mom and his stepdad that he's leaving to go with the Rolling Stones. It's my dream come true. It's my job, and they just kind of scoff but it's not really a job, is it? Wow, thanks. All right. Well, anyway, so they get to L.A. They're in the LA house on Oriole Drive up in the hills. And the house is for Mick and Keith, and it's too visible. They need something more secretive. So they're going to keep the house in Oriole Drive for the rest of the band. But Mick and Keith and Sam and Mick Taylor are going to stay. They get permission to use from Stephen Stills. He has a house up in... a more secretive house where they get more privacy. At this point, Keith Richards is hanging out with Graham Parsons all the time. They're just hanging out, making music, doing a lot of, Graham Parsons is really kind of introducing country music to Keith Richards, so they're like best buddies, just playing music together. This is the time while they're working on the album Let It Bleed. The song Country Honk. I mean, the lyrics are the honky tonk woman, but the song is called Country Honk. That's actually, when you listen to that song, you hear that car horn. That's Sam Cutler. Mick Jagger said, "Okay, Sam, go sit in the limo, and when I signal to you, you're gonna honk the horn." So listen to that. Listen to the song, Country Honk. You can hear Sam Cutler honking the limo horn. So the Stones tickets for a concert are usually running about anywhere between $5.50 to $8.50, $5 to $8 at this time in 1969. But the Doors usually run about $5, Blind Faith about $6, all around the same. But on the street, scalpers are pulling in about $40 or more for the Stones. Like, people want to go see the Rolling Stones. And in an article in the San Francisco Chronicle by this guy named Ralph J. Gleason, really just is talking shit about the Stones, saying how they're greedy and they charge so much money, and if Mick really takes offense by this, because he's saying, "What? I'm not greedy." And so this kind of leads the feeling that Mick and the Stones owe something to the U.S. fans. They owe it to the U.S. fans, and that's where this free concert idea comes in mind. We're going to put on a free concert. Okay, so they have a bodyguard named Tony Funches. He's an African-American guy from the States. He's an ex-Marine. He's an ex-boxer. And he gets along with the band. He parties with them. He's like the right-hand man. He's there just watching out, making sure everything's cool. And there's this one time when they're leaving the hotel to go jump into the limo. And as they're walking, a little old lady goes, "Mick." And Mick turns around and sees her and goes, "Oh, hello there. Mick, I want to show you something." "Oh, okay, what do you want to show me?" And the little old lady shows him a Polaroid of herself naked, laying on her back with her legs open and everything's exposed. And Mick Jagger says, "That's disgusting." And the lady flips out, grabs Mick with two hands by the hair, and they both fall on the ground, and she won't let go of her hair, and Mick's screaming, "Get her off of me!" Sam Cutler's there, Tony Funches, their bodyguard's there, but Tony and Sam are looking at each other saying, I'm not gonna beat up an old woman. So, but they're rolling all over the floor. The old lady's pulling on Mick's hair, and Mick's screaming, "Get her off of me!" And finally, Sam Cutler, okay, let's see what I can do, and trying to get her off. And he does one of those playground school things where you take two hands and you do an Indian burn on the arm, and she finally lets go, and they get away, and they get into the limo and drive off and leave that poor old woman with her Polaroid. But anyway, that was the last time Mick ever, that was the reason for I'm never stopping to chat with a fan. Nope, done. Thanks a lot, old lady. All right, so November 7th, 1969, the band is on their way to play at Colorado State University. Sam Cutler and Ronnie Schneider, they're discussing the details of the gig and realize that they have no one to introduce the band. Mick Jagger says to Sam Cutler, "Hey, why don't you introduce the band?" Sam Cutler said, "Shit, why the fuck not?" So Sam Cutler thinks about the night before. There were these young girls hanging around outside the hotel, about the Stones. They had pictures and stuff. And he asks the girls, hey, just what do you think about the Stones? And they say, "Oh, they're the greatest band in the world." So that's what came to his mind when he's about to introduce the Rolling Stones. And he says, to introduce them at the Colorado State, he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest rock and roll band in the world, the Rolling Stones." And that's his new thing. That's how he introduces them. Okay, here's another good one for you. So, 1969, this is all 1969 right now. So, they have about 13 rental cars with the group, with everybody who works together for the band. They have 13 rental cars that they're using, but only 3 sets of keys. So what the fuck's going on? We have to turn in these cars. So in comes this guy named John James, and he arrives, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it. I'm from Chrysler. I'll handle this mess." Okay, go ahead, John James. But then the rental company keeps calling the Stones, and they say, "Oh, well, John James was here." And then the rental company is saying, "Oh, well, John James called us. He says he's the representative of the Stones." So Sam Cutler's like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And Sam Cutler says that this John James guy now has introduced with his group a private security group for the whole band. So, everyone just kind of shrugs. Okay, sure. No big deal. So it turns out Sam Cutler, it doesn't really sit well with him. And, he chats with Mick about this, and Mick's just like, let it go, Sam. It's all right. But Sam's like, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. He came out of nowhere. Who is he? So he sits down with, the buddies, the main 2 guys of John James, Ray and Brad. That's what their names. And he's like, what is going on? And it turns out John James, with his whole group of private security, are just, they're cops. And they are just moonlighting while during their annual leave as, They're drug dealers. They are coke dealers moonlighting while they're on vacation of their police force under the guise of the Rolling Stone security. But don't worry. Here, have a line. So everyone's like, all right, well, it works for us. It works for you. So, quite interesting. So, and anyway, Sam Cutler gets kind of paranoid about this. There are these undercover cops. like, are they going to bust us? And they're like, no, Sam, we're not going to bust you. We want to do what we're doing, and we're going to hang out with you guys. No big deal. No one gets busted. Okay, here, have another line. Sam talks to Ray and Brad. They become buddies. Like, there's no, like, us against you. We're all in it together. Sam's like, I think I need a gun. He's like, okay, we'll get you a gun. They give him one of those little 2-shooter Derringers, like a one little shot 2-shooter, like 2-bullet shooter thing. Sam's like, what is this, a woman gun? They said, no, it's not a woman gun. It's called a boot gun. You hide it in your boot. So anyway, any day, one day Sam wanted to test out his little boot gun, and it was like in the dressing room at one of their clubs, and he pulls out his boot gun and he like fires it, bam, right at the door, and puts on 2 big holes right in the thing. And Ray and Brad rush in. What the fuck are you doing? I just wanted to try it out. Come on, you stupid Englishman. And we're going to show you how to reload it, but do not fire it again, okay? So, we're still running through 1969. The Rolling Stones play at the Oakland Coliseum. And when they arrive, their gear is... their gear doesn't show up. But luckily, the Grateful Dead roadies and sound guys are there, and they said, "Don't worry, man. We're going to help you guys out. We have some extra stuff that we'll go get." And they bring back some amps and stuff, and they set them up really good. Oakland Coliseum is run by Bill Graham. If you don't know Bill Graham built the Fillmore East, which was in New York, and the Fillmore West, which is in San Francisco. And they're both successful. Everyone plays there, from Allman Brothers to Zappa. Like, that's the place to play. So anyway, they get there and they're setting up. They're hanging out. The Stones are hanging out with the Grateful Dead guys. Not the band. It's just like the roadies and stuff. And Sam Cutler and Rock Scully, they're all hanging out. And then all of a sudden they see someone slapping around a girl on the stage, like slapping her. Sam Cutler goes up to him and he's like, "Oh, hey, mate, we don't do any of that shit around here." Like that kind of thing. Like, what the fuck you doing? And he says, "Get off the stage, man." And then this man says, "What do you mean get off the stage? This is my stage." Sam Cutler says, "No, this is the Rolling Stones stage. Get off the stage." It's Bill Graham. Bill Graham says, "This is my fucking stage." So it's not a nice introduction between Bill Graham and Sam Cutler. And the whole pre-show is like infighting with Sam Cutler, Bill Graham. Finally, Mick comes in. Bill Graham is a big Mick Jagger fan. He's like, I adores Mick. He's the best. He's the rock. He is rock and roll. And once Mick comes in, like sweeping his head, what's going on here? And Bill Graham's like, "Oh, Mick, hi, how you doing?" Mick Jagger says pretty much like, "Well, like, what? Why are you slowing us down? What the fuck's going on?" "Oh no, everything's fine. Then get the fuck out of here. Get out of my face." Like, it's an embarrassing moment for Bill Graham. He walks away. The show goes on. It's a really good show. All right, so that is a little note that we need to know. So, remember back we talked about Sam Cutler and Rock Scully talking about putting on a live show. Okay, so they meet again, and after this Coliseum thing with Bill Graham, Sam Cutler gets invited out to San Francisco, where he meets people to put on a show. They want to do it in Golden Gate Park. That's where Rock Scully's shows are. Rock Scully, he's manager of the Grateful Dead. But Bill Graham went behind everyone's back and told the mayor of San Francisco, "Do not let these assholes play here. They're going to fuck it up. They're going to destroy it. Their fans are assholes. The band is assholes. They're going to destroy everything." And and you can believe me, I successfully run the Fillmore East and the Fillmore West. So yeah, it's Ixnay for the Stones, and anywhere in San Francisco. So they have to find a new place. That was like their idea. Rock Scully's like, come on, just play where we play. It's not going to happen. So they're looking for a place to play. It's kind of a mess because every single press conference that the Stones do after like a concert, someone always brings up, hey, what about this free concert we've been hearing about? And they're like, yeah, no one knows anything. Like, it's going to happen when? I don't know. Is it free? Yes. How many people is going to, like, can they come? I'm sure. I don't know. There's no answers to this. And they're kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place because all of a sudden Mick at one of these press conferences says, it's going to happen December 6th. What the fuck are you talking about? We don't even have a place to play. And so Mick says it's going to happen December 6th. So now there's a rush. Oh my God, fucking Mick, why did you say that? Anyway, so that's their problem for right now. Where are they going to find a place to play? Mick said it's happening December 6th, and that's like less than a month away. And in walks this buddy of the Rolling Stones called Goldfinger. I'm going to end it with this story about who is Goldfinger. Goldfinger is a buddy of the Stones, and he's very, very, I don't know, he's a very popular drug dealer on the West Coast. He has red hair and he has one hand. He lost one of his hands by putting his hand into the engine of a small plane that was supposed to come from Colombia to San Diego, and it chewed his hand off while he was smuggling marijuana. He's a very popular guy. The band likes him. They're friends with him. But John James and his pals know that the feds are on to Goldfinger. They don't want Goldfinger around because we don't want that attention. We're trying to hide with the Stones and deal. We can't have the feds coming around here looking for Goldfinger. So it's a little bit of a mess here, right? Mick Jagger says December 6th, and Goldfinger's back in the picture. Let's end it here. So thanks for coming. Thanks for sticking around. That is part 1 of our Sam Cutler episode. See you next time.